Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video in which I will be showing you my Paul McCartney 12-inch vinyl collection and also my picture discs for Paul McCartney as well. Now I'm sure you'll be glad to hear that it's going to be shorter than last week's video, which was a lot longer than I intended it to be. But I've still got a fair few 12 inches and picture discs to show, so I'm just going to get straight into it. And our very first one is Good Night Tonight from 1979, and it's got Paul McCartney and Linda and Wings in formal attire. On the back here, it's got those pictures, and the B-side is Daytime, Nighttime, Suffering. And not only is it on the Parlophone label, but it comes in this kind of retro style sleeve here, but obviously this is 12-inch, and it's customised, so it's got Wings on there. And as it says in that box, it's the full 7.25 minute version, and it's basically just supposed to be like an old Parlophone sleeve, but I think it's a really good design. And on side one you get the long version of Good Night Tonight, and of course Daytime, Nighttime, Suffering is on the B side. And of course the thing with 12 inches is that they almost always carried a longer mix of the 7-inch version of whatever song it is, and that can either be a slightly longer version, so maybe 30-40 seconds longer, or it can be substantially longer, as in a few minutes longer. Sometimes it's just kind of instrumental filler, and other times it's new stuff, so it can be very interesting to hear the 12-inch mixes of songs. And the next one is from the McCartney 2 album, and didn't actually come out in 7-inch format, it was only a 12-inch, and that is Temporary Secretary. And this is definitely not one of my, or indeed I dare say not one of most people's favourite Paul McCartney songs, but I've got the 12-inch here anyway. And this one is quite difficult to get because it didn't sell very well, and if you've heard the song I'm sure you'll understand why. But anyway, here's the picture cover, and it has the B-side called Secret Friend. So we'll get two songs on this 12-inch, and there's Paul on the back. And here's the Parlophone label for this single, 1980. Very similar to the Beatles labels that came out at this point. And here's the B-side, Secret Friend, which is a whopping 10.5 minutes long. And I can't even remember anything about this track. I must have only listened to it maybe once before. And our third 12-inch single is a much more well-known one, Ebony and Ivory, which was Paul's duo with Stevie Wonder. And this was a very big selling single. And there's the back. It's pretty much identical to the 7-inch version. And the song appeared on the Tug of War album. And the B-side has a song called Rain Clouds, and it also has a solo version of Ebony and Ivory, which is nice. And this is also on the Parlophone label, except it's a slightly different Parlophone label to the previous one. So this is the Parlophone label with the MPL logo on there. Here it is, 1982. And there's Paul's solo version on the B-side. And here we have Paul's first duo with Michael Jackson, and this is the song Say, Say, Say. And this is on the Pipes of Peace album. And there's the B-side, or the back, sorry. And on the B-side of this 12-inch you get an instrumental version of Say, 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 as well as a song called Ode to a Koala Bear. And this is on the Parlophone label as well. And it's on exactly the same type of Parlophone label as the previous one. And this is 1983. This single came out. Now the next Paul McCartney 12-inch is actually one of my favourite Paul McCartney songs, and that is No More Lonely Nights. Now of course with the 12-inch you get, as it states at the bottom, an extended version, and on the back you get No More Lonely Nights, the extended version, which is 8 minutes and 10 seconds, so that's like double the length of the 7-inch version. You then get Silly Love Songs, and that is the version from the Give My Regards to Broad Street album, which is re-recorded. And you get just the regular length version of the song, which was 4 minutes and 38 seconds, and that's what appeared on the 7-inch. And here's the single, the extended version of No More Lonely Nights. And there's side 2. It's nice that they give you more than one song on a 12-inch. It makes it worth the money, really. Now, believe it or not, this 12-inch single I didn't actually have this time last week. In fact, I actually said in my 7-inch singles collection video that this is quite a difficult one to get. And I was only able to get this last Saturday. I just happened to find one on eBay for a bargain price. And so I bought that, and here it is. So this is No More Lonely Nights again. However, this is the extended playout version, remixed by Arthur Baker. Now, the 7-inch of this is quite difficult to get, but I think the 12-inch is even more difficult. So, on the 7-inch, on the regular 7-inch version of No More Lonely Nights, you get the ballad, which is like the regular version, on the A side, and you get the playout version, which is like a much more upbeat version of the song, on the B side. Now, the previous 12-inch was an extended version of the ballad, and this is an extended version and a remix of the playout version. So this is like a fourth different version of the song, basically. And here it is, and this version of the song, of the playout mix, comes to 6 minutes and 55, so not quite as long as the last one. And again, you get Silly Love Songs, and you get the regular 7-inch version of the ballad of No More Lonely Nights. And other than obviously the A-side label, the 12-inch itself is identical to the previous one. But it seems that the remix by Arthur Baker didn't sell nearly as well as the conventional 7-inch and 12-inch version did. And here I've actually got a picture disc of No More Lonely Nights, and this is the regular 12-inch version that's been made into a picture disc, not the Arthur Baker version. And so here it is. In fact, I'll take it out of its cover just so you can see it a bit better. Right, so this is the original cover that came with it. So there it is, No More Lonely Nights, extended version. And of course, picture discs are made more for display purposes than to actually play. But anyway, on side 2 you get this really nice picture here. And it's just the same 3 songs that are on the regular 12-inch version. But as I say, you know, picture discs are very much for the purposes of display, and this one looks really nice, I think. Now, just to briefly interrupt this 12-inch single video, I've got a 7-inch single which I acquired since I uploaded my video last week, and so I just thought I'd quickly show that as well. And this is We All Stand Together from Rupert the Bear. Now, this was the 20th anniversary edition, which came out in 2004 and was issued on yellow vinyl, which I'll show you in just a moment. But as it says there, this is the 20th anniversary. And on the back, here it is. It's got a barcode in the top right corner. And here's what the vinyl looks like. A nice yellow single. Limited edition, it says. And the label's just the same on both sides. Except it's got the song title there. And the B side of the single is the Tropic Island Hum. And while we're still on that song, I've got a picture disc of the very same single. But this was an original 1980s release. And I'll just take it out of its cover here. So here it is, in its original bag there. Paul McCartney in the frog chorus, "We All Stand Together." And I do like this picture disc, I think it's quite funny. And there's the back. It's got the humming version of "We All Stand Together" on the B-side there, which is the same as the conventional 7-inch version. And this came out in 1984. And here's the 12-inch version of the song "Spies Like Us" from the film of the same name. And this features the party mix of that song, as well as the B-side, "My Carnival." And there's the back of the 12-inch. And you also get an alternative mix, as well as the party mix of "Spies Like Us." And you also get a DJ version. So you actually get 4 songs on here. You get 3 different versions of "Spies Like Us," and you get the song "My Carnival." Weirdly, none of the 3 versions are actually the version that came out on the 7-inch. So you just got 3 alternate versions. But you know, I suppose that's the sort of thing you'd expect to find on a 12-inch. And there's the Parlophone label there from 1985. And there's the other side. And I've actually got a couple of different picture discs for "Spies Like Us." The first one I've got is like a shaped picture disc, which I'll show you now. Okay, so here it is. Quite an unusual shaped picture discs, but then picture discs were known to come in all sorts of wacky different designs. And then here's the B-side. And it hasn't actually got all 4 songs from the 12-inch, it's only got the A and the B from the 7-inch. And here's a circular picture disc for "Spies Like Us." It's got Paul on that side. And it's just got this on the other side. And this one does carry all 4 songs from the 12-inch. So even the picture discs have different versions. The next one up is "Press" from 1986. So the cover's pretty much the same as the 7-inch version. And there's the back. And here's the actual record. And on the B-side of this one, you get a song called "Hang Glide" and a dub mix of the song "Press." And also on the A-side, you get a song called "It's Not True," which I'm guessing was the B-side to the 7-inch. So again, you get 4 songs, which is very good value for money. Now the next one's a bit of an interesting one. This is a release of Press, except it comes in this 10-inch fold-out case here. You would undo the flap here and open it out, and there'd be a few different things in there. However, it's extremely fragile, and I'm not actually certain that this copy's ever actually been opened. So I'm not going to attempt to open it, but I can still show you the front and back of it. So here's the front, and there's the back, just like the 7 and 12-inch single. And here we have a 12-inch of a song called "Pretty Little Head." This is not a song I've listened to that often, I have to say. And here's the back. You get "Pretty Little Head" on the A side, and that's from Press to Play. And on the B side, you get a song called "Angry," and you also get a song called "Right Away." And what's interesting is the second one, if down there, it advertises it as a compact disc Press to Play, but on the other 2 songs it just says "from the album." So I don't know if that means this was like a bonus track on the CD and they've just stuck it on the back of the 12-inch. I don't even know if they did bonus tracks in those days. So I'm not 100% sure about that one. And there's the label. This version is nearly 7 minutes, which it will certainly be longer than the one that's on the album, I'm sure. And there's the B-side. And this song is called Once Upon a Long Ago, and it's from the compilation that was released in 1987, Paul McCartney, All the Best. And this is a longer version of the song, as has been the case with so many of the previous 12 inches I've shown. And you also get 4 tracks on here. And this is still on the Parlophone label. There we go. And the next couple of singles are from one of my favourite McCartney albums ever, and that is Flowers in the Dirt from 1989. And the first of those singles is My Brave Face, an excellent song. And here's a 12-inch of it. And it's pretty bland on the back. It's just got the barcode and stuff and the song titles. So on here you get My Brave Face, Flying to My Home, I'm Gonna Be a Wheel Someday, and Ain't That a Shame. And it says tracks 3 and 4 are from the USSR exclusive release Chopper BCCCP. And if you're not familiar with that album, it's basically just Paul McCartney doing quite a bit of 50s and 60s rock and roll. And I'll be showing my copy of that in next week's video, because I'll be doing my McCartney albums next week. But anyway, this 12-inch comes in a beautiful hot pink in the sleeve here. It's really vibrant. It's the same on both sides. And it's on the kind of cream Parlophone label, as I like to call it, which I really like. And here it is. And there's the other side. And here's yet another amazing single from that album. This one, with a really colourful picture cover here. And on this 12-inch you get this one, The First Stone, I Wanna Cry, and I'm in Love Again. And you get the lyrics to the A side as well. And there's the label. And here's the third single from the album, and that is Figure of Eight, which is also outstanding. So on this single you get on side A you get Figure of Eight, and on the B side you get this one, but it's the Club Lovejoys mix. So that's something unusual. And here's the record, once again on this label. And there's the B-side. And here is a version of Figure of Eight, backed with Où le Soleil. I'm not 100% sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But anyway, this is a different version, and this is an etched disc, which I'll show you in just a moment. I'll just show you the back of the cover first. Nice and yellow. And here is the etched disc. So both songs are on side 1 of this record, and that's because side 2 is a pattern and therefore it's unplayable. But here it is. It's just the same pattern from the front cover of the two people looking up, but it's very nice though. And here's the 12-inch of Awele Soleil as the A-side. As you can see, it's got the sun on there, and I know Soleil is the sun. I'm not entirely sure what the song title translates to though. I can't remember. But anyway, here's the back. And on the B side of this one, you get the tub-dub mix of the A-side and also an instrumental mix of the A-side. So this is a slightly unusual one, and I don't think this was a very big seller. And you can kind of understand why. It's quite an obscure song anyway. But here it is on a different looking Parlophone label. And this one came out in 1989 as well, same year as all the rest of the Flowers in the Dirt stuff. And this is actually Italian, this record. They got their made in Italy. So that's an interesting foreign piece. And the final Flowers in the Dirt related 12-inch I've got is Put It There, which was on the album and is a very good song. And this includes a limited edition art print by Paul McCartney, which I've got here, so I'll show you in just a second. There's the back. And you get 3 songs, and they are Put It There, Mama's Little Girl, and Sometime Next Year. So I'll show you the stuff on the inside. Here's the art print that's mentioned on the album sleeve, and it's just a reproduction of the album artwork. And it's blank on the other side. And here's the 12-inch itself. Now, what's interesting is this particular copy of the 12-inch that I've got is very peculiar because it's got the B-side label here, which is as it should be, and then it's just got this label on the other side. Now, I've played it and it's got the songs on and everything. However, it's a completely blank white label apart from a small segment of the production information. So I'm guessing this is just a misprint of some sort, rather than like a test press or anything, because it's got the B-side label. So I'm guessing it's just some weird misprint, but it's quite interesting though. And here is another 12-inch which is pretty difficult to get, and this is from the Tripping the Live Fantastic album, which is a triple live album, and this is a live version of the Beatles track Birthday. And that is backed with Good Day Sunshine, P.S. Love Me Do is got on there. I'm trying to think what that is. I don't know if that's some type of amalgamation of P.S. I Love You and Love Me Do. I can't remember. Anyway, and it's also got Let Them In. And they were each recorded at different venues, I believe. And I'll show you the 12-inch itself. There's the A-side. This came out in 1990. And the next 12-inch I've got comes from 1992, and that is the song Deliverance, and this is the Steve Anderson remix. And it's backed with Deliverance, which is a dub mix, and Hope of Deliverance. And it just comes in this white sleeve here, and it's got the sticker at the top there as well. And here I've got a picture disc from 2007, I believe. You get 2007, and picture disc is called Dance Tonight. In fact, everything I've got here is from the 2000s, so we're kind of into more modern stuff now. There's the back. And this next picture disc from the Twin Freaks album, and here it is. You can get a few different Twin Freaks 12 inches. Some of them are rare, some of them are extremely rare. This one here isn't particularly rare, but I know some of them were very, very limited. And there's the back. In fact, you'll be able to see this far better if I show you it properly. So I'm going to take it out of its outside cover there, and it might be quite difficult to see, but the song is called "Really Love You" from Twin Freaks. So on one side you get the label with the songs on, and you get two songs on here. The second song is called "La Lula," and you can see both songs are on this side, and that's because it's an etched disc on the B side. It's got the Twin Freaks album cover, which is a very weird album cover, but they've got a really nice etched version of it on the back here, which I think is really cool. And here we have yet another Twin Freaks 12-inch single, and this has got 4 songs on this one, and it's called Amoeba's Secret. And the 4 songs you get are Only Mama Knows, Sea Moon, you get a version of that. You also get That Was Me, and I Saw Her Standing There is the 4th and final track. Now I can't really show you this because it's actually a sealed copy, but I can show you the back at least. Just a picture of Paul McCartney there. And the next 12-inch is a fairly recent Record Store Day release, I believe, and it's from 2013, and it's Maybe I'm Amazed. However, this is the live version, which came out as a single in, I believe, 1976. This is the live version, which came out as a single. However, it's been put in 12-inch format, and it's had a few different versions made of it. It's been remastered as well. So you've got the short version of 3 minutes and 53 seconds, and you get the longer album version of 5 minutes and 22 seconds. Now, interestingly, you get those exact same 2 songs on both sides. However, on this side it's in mono, and on the other side it's in stereo. And it comes in this really nice black Wings sleeve, and this is sealed as well. And it just tells you at the bottom there that you get side 1 in mono and side 2 in stereo. Now this is a remix of Say Say Say, which came out as a Record Store Day item, I believe, a couple of years ago. I picked this up when it very first came out on Record Store Day. I believe it was 2 years ago. And I'll just have a quick look on the back to confirm that. Yes, 2015. So here it is, just a white back, and it looks completely different to the 1983 version of the 12-inch. But you get the 2015 remix, which was produced by George Martin, and you just get an instrumental version of Say 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 on the B side. And once again, this is sealed, so I can't show you what the label looks like. And finally, I've got this. It's You'll Never Walk Alone, which was in aid of the Bradford City Disaster Fund, and this is just the 12-inch version of that. It's kind of similar to Band-Aid, except it's not quite as big as that, but it's got lots of British celebrities on there, including Paul McCartney, obviously, which is why I've got it here. And I suppose it's just quite an interesting thing. And I'll show you the label of this 12-inch, which came out in 1985. And the actual song is You'll Never Walk Alone, which was originally a Jerry and the Pacemakers song. And you get the extended version on the 12-inch here. And there's the B-side there. You get the 7-inch version of You'll Never Walk Alone and a song called Messages. Well, I'm sure it won't be a song, actually. It'll just be the celebrities' messages. Okay, so that concludes my video showing my Paul McCartney picture discs and 12-inch singles, which again took quite a bit longer than I thought it would, so apologies for that. So anyway, next week I'll be showing my Paul McCartney albums, and after that I'll probably just be showing my other solo Beatles collections of Ringo, George and John. So I hope you enjoy those future videos, and I want to say a big thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you all next time.